Well, we needed to be as good as we were. We played awfully well. I think obviously, no points makes a big difference in a ball game. I thought, they kind of set the tone defensively when we had, the first three possessions were all three and outs, and that's really major for any football team, and it's something that we try to get indoctrinated to the best we possibly can. Probably had some other opportunities to, we put a couple of pass interceptions on the ground. We can't do that. So there's mistakes that are there, but collectively played well, played aggressively, pursued well. Tackling was improved over last week, so I was pleased.
This day and age, how much do you appreciate a shutout?
Well, a great deal, and you're absolutely right. I can't tell you when the last time we had a shutout. It just doesn't happen, in this day and age. So I thought it was something for our youngsters to be truly proud of. Yes.
Coach, you were the head coach for the 300th win in program history, the 400th win. What's the significance of being in charge of the 500th win?
What did we do? Did we win? This was the 500th. Well, what it means to me is when I first came here, it was the only program that had accumulated in NC2A football 500 losses. So we caught up. We caught up with our losses somewhere along the road, I think. Maybe, hopefully.
Coach,
doesn't mean much, really.
No. I think if I looked up and it's correct, the last time you did shut out a Big 12 opponent here was 66-0 over Missouri in Mark Semino's final game, 1999. This defense, coupled with what you guys have been able to do, how good has this defense been at this point in the season? It strikes me that they're doing some things that haven't been done here in a while.
Well, it's awful early to be saying things like that, so don't come to the press conference on Tuesday if you're going to do that. We got a lot of football ahead of us, right? So we're only as good as we were today, and tomorrow's a different day. So it's to have the continuity and to be able to do it continuously would be a good thing. We haven't done it continuously all year, so we've got a ways to go.
Coach, the other side of the ball, the offense started kind of slow, but that last drive before the end of the first half, the touchdown, three big plays kind of seemed to loosen things up a little bit, give you a spark.
Well, big plays are major for any offense playing against a very fine defensive football team. We got a few. We gave up a few. In the second half, we had two penalties that erased two major plays in the ball game. That's not what we do. So we didn't do a good job of having the discipline to avoid getting penalized. But we didn't turn the ball over, and we did create a few big plays that were significant in the ball game. Certainly in that score, and keeping some drives alive. That was important because having the difficulty in scoring was probably not, in my way of thinking, wasn't quite as significant as just being able to house the possession of the ball game. We had 2-1 possession time. I think it was over 29 minutes. So I don't know what it was, but anyway, we had substantial time. Is that what it was? 39. I mean. Yeah. So it was 2-1 in terms of possession time. That was important. But if we make some of those big plays that we had the opportunity and didn't get penalized, then things would have been a great deal different, I think.
Coach, I know you don't discuss injuries, but Jake was clearly bothered by that shoulder. Can you talk about his effort kind of fighting through those things today?
Well, as I said before, I said last week, I think Jake is a tough-minded young guy. He can handle, virtually anything. He's proven that he can do that. So, I'm proud of the way he played. It took a little while to get going, but I don't think that was probably more our fault than it was his. But I thought he played well.
On the other side of the ball, Texas really likes the middle of the field with their passing game. Talk about how you guys took that away from them and how Dante
Well, we
Barnett
didn't
played.
always. I mean, they didn't get any points, so we did it enough. But when they did get a play, that's where they got it. You know, my concern was that they were going to take Johnson and, you know, fly him down the field and try to throw over the top of us, or they were going to take Harris and run him down the field and just have the jump balls out there. They did that a couple times, but we played the vast majority of those well. The stuff that came inside, as I said, when they moved the chains, you know, they had a couple of drives that got down to the other end of the field, and both of them were the result of being able to get first downs with, you know, some of those routes going inside. But, you know, then when, you know, we got 22 down to, you know, to play them, we'd have been, you know, it would have been a good trade-off if we'd have just caught the ball, you know.
Coach, Curry Sexton only had 4 catches today, but it seems like every time he catches a pass, it's in a critical moment. What about him that allows him to make so many key plays for you, and how big has he been for your offense and taking pressure off Tyler in the passing game?
Well, you know, it's everybody that plays at one of those positions out there has to be able to be effective, because you don't know who's going to get the ball. I mean, they want to take Tyler away or they want to take Curry away. I mean, they can line up and take anybody away they want to for the vast majority of the time. So everybody has to be a viable element. And, you know, if you know, if you're going to allow somebody like Curry to get the ball, he'll get it. And, you know, if you don't, then, you know, he won't. But he's, I guess maybe just to answer the question, Curry is, he's a very astute player. He's very knowledgeable about our system. He's knowledgeable about defenses. He runs excellent routes. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but he can run. And, you know, he knows how to get open, and he can advance the ball upfield a little bit when he gets the opportunity. But he's good about, you know, he's kind of like a quarterback out there. He's pretty good about deciphering defenses, and you know, and we have a lot of dialogue on the sidelines about, you know, things that he, and others too, but, you know, I certainly, you know, appreciate his comments as well. And he's, you know, he's not selfish about it whatsoever. You know, he's not one of those guys saying, hey, I can get this, I can get that, I can get this. It's just kind of having some dialogue about the nuances of the game, and offense and defense, and he has great understanding of that.
Coach, it was a 2-score game early in the fourth quarter. They had 4th and 1 at the 14. Talk about the play of Barnett and Truman to make that stop.
Yeah, I mean, that was that's quite a play. I mean, it's not the easiest thing in the world to you know, to stop somebody. I mean, there's a lot of things that they can do. I mean, here's a guy that, you know, he's big enough just to reach the ball over and get the first down. He's physical enough that he can run it forward. He can, you know, he can run the option, because he's got the speed to do that. So you have to defend all of it. That makes it harder. And so it really became, we didn't out-scheme him. We just beat him. And those guys were a major part of that. So I was proud of them. They held the line of scrimmage quite well. And guys that, you know, that weren't in on the tackle did a nice job too, knocking people back.
Coach, going back to Dante Barnett for a second, along with your thoughts on how he played today, just in general, how important of a leader he is for this team, and in a game like this, does it seem like he's out there kind of as the field marshal, kind of manage everything and keep things in front of him?
Well, it's the nature of the position, and you know, he's accepted the responsibility, and it is you know, a good-sized responsibility. But I'm pleased with what he's done, you know, to this point in time. And he's a good player as well as being a good leader. And all of our players respect him, and you know, they have to listen to him because he's the guy giving some directions out there along with Jonathan.
Coach, how big was McCrane today, and what can you say about his maturation as a freshman in such a high-pressure position?
It is, isn't it? I mean, that's how would you like to be out there? You know, isn't that something? You know, of all the positions, I mean, you put 11 guys on the field, offense and defense, and you can hide, you know, with, you know, so nobody sees it. I mean, you guys, you know, you're sitting up there, we can see things, but you may see the guy out, you know, dropping a pass or something, but you don't see what's going on most of the time. You know, if you're a kicker, I mean, there's whatever we got, if there's 53,000 there, all 53 are right on him. And so I'm proud of it, very proud of it. You know, I think and I don't care how short or how long it is. I mean, it's just to hit it between, you know, because here's the deal. You know, if you're a kicker and you miss the ball, now if you miss a block that much, you probably win the war. Okay? If you hit a ball that much, you know, you're dead in the water. So I mean, it takes great focus. So I'm really proud of it.
How much confidence are you gaining in him now, going forward? Obviously, a career long tonight or today.
Well, I think we've had that confidence. You know, I don't think it's ever, and I'm not saying it's not growing. You know, the more you do, obviously, that faith will grow a little bit. But you know, when we put him in there, we were confident in what his capabilities were.
Coach, to piggyback off of that, how important was those early field goals, especially with the offense, you know, slowing down, struggling in the red zone?
Well, I mean, you got to come away with points, but it was irritating, you know, that we had to put him on the field. I mean, that was our downfall today. We had opportunities that we couldn't. I mean, it was just so reminiscent of Iowa State. You know, we go down, march down the field to Iowa State, and we score, and then we come back and we, you know, dribble down our leg and 2 possessions and have to kick field goals, and that's the same. You guys got a chuckle out of that then, but it's irritating. You know, I mean, we have got to be. I mean, if you want to win in this conference, you better be able to score when you get the ball down there.
Coach, you guys obviously come off an emotional win at OU on the road, and then come here and do this. Can you give us a sense of what this mindset is of the team, and maybe how pleased you have been with them day to day and taking care of things?
Well, but I think that's it. I mean, it is day to day. I mean, you know, when you're finished, you know, it's that old adage about enjoy it today and we get back to work tomorrow. Some people do it, some people don't, and if you want to succeed, that's the only way you can do it. You can't live off the past, good, bad, or indifferent, and you know, hopefully, and I believe they will. I mean, our guys have been pretty good about that. Maybe not 100%, but you know, pretty doggone good about being able to get invested in the moment and to be able to come back on Monday, watch the ball game, see the mistakes, go to the field and get them corrected, watch tape on the next opponent and get invested in that, and then everything else is behind us and moving on. So I feel comfortable that, reasonably comfortable that the vast majority of our guys will take on that mindset.
Last question. Bill, I'm curious, you've been this way before and played at this level for so many years, but I'm wondering about the noise around the program as it relates to college football now. Social media, so many different things where talk about football playoffs and things like that are so preeminent now. Has that been the one thing from outside the program, externally, that's changed about dealing with that kind of issues?
Well, I think that is part of it. I mean, there's a lot of changes that have been incremental over the years, and I've addressed a lot of them, and we won't, you know, we don't need to revisit that right now. But and I mentioned this, you know, a few games ago, or maybe a press conference, I don't remember. But that is, I mean, if you were to, and I'm not unlike most people. I mean, you know, in my office, I'll have some games on this afternoon, and I'm watching tape and see some of them. Or parts of them, but you know, the dialogue will be, and ESPN is guilty as anybody, and I don't know if they're in here right now, but I've already told them, so they know how I feel. You know, it's all the dialogue is about nothing except, you know, who's going to be in the playoff, and you know that sells, you know, space, and I understand that. I mean, it's just you know, it's just the way it is, I guess, as people say, but. You know, I think there still needs to be something that says, you know, Appalachian State, you know, lined up and played great football today against so-and-so, and, you know, all that stuff gets lost in the shuffle. You know, it's not about anything other than, okay, who are the top 4 teams, who's next to, that's it. I mean, that's the whole thing, and that's too bad. It's too bad.